Hi, Mike. We've got a team for us.
We've got a team, yeah. Glenn Maxwell's 12th man, and Usman's still on standby. So I'm fit and playing, and we've gone with the 4 fast bowlers and Nathan Lyon.
And what influenced your decision on that?
A fair bit of grass on the wicket. The boys bowled really well in the last Test match, and bringing Mitchell Starc back into the team obviously helps our bowling attack, especially with the form he's in. And Mitchell Johnson's batting, like I said, in Melbourne, is batting as well as an all-rounder now anyway. So I'm confident we've got enough batting still with Matthew Wade at 6, Mitchell Johnson at 7, and we've got extra bowling, which is a real positive for us.
We expect to see a fair bit of short bowling after the way Sri Lanka handled that in
Not necessarily. I think you can expect some good fast bowling. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be short. I think it's about execution. We have plans for each individual player. Some of those plans involve short pitch bowling, but not necessarily for every player. No, I don't think you'll see anything ridiculous. It's about us bowling well to our plans, catching well, and hopefully having some more success.
Next question.
All done. Perfect.
I can keep going.
Might as well while you've got the mic.
Michael, how important is the Hussey factor here, setting off on a good note?
Yeah, it's something we've certainly spoken about, and I guess since I've been playing cricket for Australia, it's been a contributing factor to our success. I guess when guys retire, it's extra special to get a win in that last game for them, and I'm certain this Test match will be no different in regards to Michael Hussey.
Has he told the team that he's going to pass the song duties on to you?
Not at all. I think he's leaving it till after the Test match, so we've all been trying to get it out of him. But no, nobody knows at this stage.
Can the captain be a candidate?
Definitely not.
Michael, in Usman, for instance, if he's to come on the Indian tour, they have one first-class game between now and then. Does that concern you? Is that not? I know it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Should we fix it?
Unfortunately, it's what we got. I think what it means, and not just Usman, I think all the batters, because now we as a team go into one-day cricket as well, we need to do a lot of work throughout the one-day series, staying 100% focused on the one-day series, but also finding extra time to prepare for Indian conditions, and even talking about the opposition. I think the plan is to get to India and have, I think there's 1, maybe 2 practice games. And plenty of training days, so our preparation once we get there is still pretty good leading up to that first Test. So yeah, there'll be a little bit more cricket, and I think preparation-wise we'll make time to get some stuff done, whether it be throughout the one-day series or for the guys playing back with their states. We'll find some time.
Mel?
Obviously, with the Tour of India coming up, it would have been a great opportunity to get a Test match in Glenn Maxwell given his spinner. Was there any thought given to that, or you purely concentrating on that?
I'm purely focused on this Test match, as the selectors are as well. I've said before, I think chairman of selectors, coach, other selectors need to make sure they're thinking about the future, and I'm sure the Indian tour is in the front of their mind, but in regards to me as captain of the team and the boys playing the game, our focus is to win this Test match and to have beaten Sri Lanka 3-0 in this series.
And Mitchell Johnson now playing his 50th Test match. Now, he went out of the team on a real downer. His form was down. He got injured. He was out of the team for a year. Did you expect to see him back, or did you think that might have been the last we'd seen of Mitch?
No, I certainly didn't think it would be the last of Mitch. I've always known how much talent he's had, whether that be with the bat or the ball. He's one of the greatest athletes I think I've seen play cricket, that's for sure. Give him a footy, try and beat him in a race. You know, he's a very good athlete. So no, it was more, I think Mitch's time away from the game freshened his body and also freshened his mind. And I think you'll see Mitch now, he's as hungry as he's ever been. He feels like he's back bowling and batting very well. And I think he knows in this group now he's a senior player, and he has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. You know, he needs to perform like a senior player, like he has done since coming back into the team. And I think Mitch is probably enjoying more of a leadership role around the group.
Because I know it's only a small sample, but what we've seen of him so far this summer, that's about as well as he's ever played, isn't it?
Yeah, he's, like I say, he's back in good form, that's for sure. I think if you ask Mitch, though, he would certainly believe he can get better, and that's what he's trying to do every day. But with the right attitude, that's you go a long way to playing your best cricket and to trying to improve. So I think his experience around the group is crucial. I think his attitude is fantastic. Even when we left him out in Hobart, he had the right attitude. He's made it very clear he wants to be back playing full-time for Australia in all three forms of the game. And if it means he has to miss a game every now and then to get himself selected more regularly, then he's happy to fight for that position.
And it looks like, given that he's played in India before, and given that his ability to stand up and keep doing the hard yards, he looks like a really important player for the Indian tour coming up.
I think he's an important player for our group in all three forms, not just Test cricket. Mitch is, like I say, he's fit and strong, so he can bowl all day. He knows his game really well now, and he's bowling well, so he can bowl long spells for you, which is certainly a bonus. And he's played in India, he's had experience there. So, yeah, look, we'll wait and see when selection comes around for the Indian tour, but if he's bowling the way he is, I see no reason why he won't be on that tour.
Michael, 329 this time last year for you. You've set the bar pretty high on a return.
What are you saying? Don't play? Have his test match off? Yeah, that was a very special day. And probably for the first time in the past 12 months, I thought about it when I come here yesterday for our first training session, walking out onto the ground. It brought back some great memories, and I remember the ground being painted in pink for the McGrath Foundation. So, yeah, look, I've always loved playing here. I've always wanted to score runs here in front of my family and friends, and I think up until last year I'd only scored one other Test 100. So, yeah, but that was last year. It's a new Test match. I start on 0. My goals haven't changed. My hunger for success has probably only increased since, hearing that Michael Hussey's going to retire. I know I have a huge responsibility as one of the leaders in this team to make sure I'm performing and leading from the front, and I'd love to start this Test match.
Given that your hamstring's not 100%, have you got a really long innings in you again, do you think?
I hope so. I managed to make 100 in Melbourne, and I think my hamstring's better than what it was in Melbourne. If I didn't think I could perform at my best, I wouldn't take the field, as I said in Melbourne. So it certainly won't be because of my hamstring that I don't make a big score.
Michael, just following up Peter's earlier question about Usman, given the experience last summer and this summer, would you like to talk to Cricket Australia at all about sort of where the BBL sits in relation to the Test matches, and how it rolls out, and the fact that guys don't have a Shield competition to go back to win the Test?
We'd all like the cake and eat it. Look, there's going to be no perfect time, is there? It's about accepting what you have and trying to manage as well as you can. Like I say, the preparation for the boys leading up to the first Test that are playing one-day cricket, it's not much different anyway. So I think with all the cricket we have and the different tournaments that happen around the year, every country's in the same vote. We need to accept it. We need to find a way to manage. I'm sure I could have that conversation, and it's spoken about often in regards to the future tours program and things like that, trying to work out, what's best for. You always want what's best for your team, the Australian team, but you've got some other countries that you've got to worry about as well, who want the best for them as well. So it's just about compromise, it's about accepting what you have, and then it's about trying to get the best out of yourself as an individual player and also the team. So like I say, I believe we've got really good preparation time once we get to India. And then as long as we're doing some work behind closed doors during this one-day series, I think we'll be fine once we get to India.
Are you satisfied when you say compromise? Are you satisfied that the Test team hasn't been compromised too much by the schedule?
Well, I'm a little bit biased there. I will always prioritise Test cricket. I'll always put Test cricket as the pinnacle, and I think it needs to be prioritised as a game, but also as the Australian team. I would like to see that continue to be prioritised, only because I think it is the pinnacle. I think we're trying to do as much as we can for all three forms, to be honest. I'm a big believer that we still have room in the calendar for all three forms. After this Test match, my priority goes to one-day cricket. My focus will be wholly and solely on that and trying to get the best out of our one-day team, knowing we've got a Champions Trophy around the corner. So, in my career so far, it hasn't really changed. When you play Test cricket, you focus wholly and solely on that. Then you go into one-day cricket and you want to be the best you can be at that as well. So I'm fortunate, I guess, that I'm not playing international 2020 cricket, so that gives me a couple of days off a year.
John?
Michael, it was pretty emotional at the If so, how do you avoid it with Hussey this week?
No, I don't think it had an impact on the team. I think it probably gave us more ammunition and fire in the belly to go out in Perth and have success. It's just unfortunate we got beaten by a better team in that Test match. And it'll be no different. I think a lot of guys will be emotional that Mr. Cricket's finishing up in Test match cricket after this game. I think he's played nearly 80 Test matches, so he's been around for such a long time, and he'll definitely be missed. But our goal is the same as it was for punter. We want to make sure we send him out on a high. Hopefully the result's a little bit different than what it was in Perth. But we'd love to see Michael Hussey go out with a win first and foremost, and hopefully another Test match 100 for him.
Ben?
Michael, as you look forward to the year without Mike Hussey and Ricky Ponting there, how drastically will your role as captain have to change now that you're shouldering so much more responsibility, I suppose?
I don't think it'll change that much, to be honest. I think there's, and I think over the next 12 months you'll probably see more of the leaders that are in our group. You'll see them stand up. I think there's been a lot of responsibility put on a lot of players in the change room since I've taken over the captaincy. I've asked out of the players to work on their leadership, to feel like they are captain or vice captain of the team. And I guess I've said my whole career that you don't need a C or a VC beside your name to be a leader in our team. So, it's just because of the age more than anything else. Michael Hussey and Ricky Ponting have been, and have been around for such a long time, plenty of experience, have been put on that pedestal as leaders, which they've certainly upheld. There's no doubt about that, and they've played a big role there. But I think they've also left or leaving the game at a time where they've helped a lot of young players come forward, not only as individual players but as leaders in the group. And I think over the next 12 months you'll see these young players stand up because they're ready for it. They look forward to this challenge, as I do. And I don't think my role will change too much at all.
Chris?
Just on that, Michael, has there been a vice-captain named for this match, and will there be, and who would lead in the event you went down or got injured?
I don't think there's been a vice-captain name. I haven't had that conversation. Will there be one named? Unlikely. And if something happens to me and I have to go off the field, well, it's Michael Hussey's last test. He has to do it, doesn't he? I would say Michael Hussey, to be honest.
Yeah, Michael, with the order as it is now, you're missing a genuine number 6. What are the chances of Mitchell Johnson, who you've been stating you see as an all-rounder, what's the chance of him batting 6 ahead of Wade?
He won't be batting 6 ahead of Wade.
So
Matthew Wade is a genuine top-order batsman, Matthew Wade. It's just that he keeps, so batting at 6 or 7 gives him some more time to recover, but Matthew Wade batting at 6 won't be a problem at all. He's been hitting the ball really well. He hasn't made a big score for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see him walk out and make 100 in this Test match.
Jamie?
Michael, aside from the on-field performances, what is it in the dressing room that you'll miss most about Hussey and what he brings to the team?
He likes celebrating, which I don't mind either. That's probably the best part of our game, when you win, when you have success. To be able to celebrate with your mates, and Huss loves that as much as anyone, so I think we'll certainly miss that side of things. I think, to be honest, I think everything Huss has done throughout his career as an Australian cricketer represents the baggy green cap. He represents it so well. He's so proud to be an Australian player. He had to work so hard to earn the baggy green cap. He wears it with pride every time he takes the field. They're the things that you want of all your players, and I just think Michael Hussey's upheld that through his career.
Just down the back there.
Michael, tomorrow will be the last Test match of Mahela Jayawardene as the captain. Any comments on his duty?
Yes, I think Mahela's a fantastic player and has been a very good captain for Sri Lanka. No doubt. Mahela's a good example of whether he's captain or not captain. I think he'll always be a senior player in that team and a leader in that team. He's one of the greats in our game currently. 10,000 runs, and I think he averages well and truly over 50. So he's been a phenomenal player, and I'm sure whoever gets the captaincy for Sri Lanka, I'm sure Mahela will do everything in his power to help them out and make sure they have an easy road into that job.
Michael, Steve Waugh was around the team today. What did he sort of bring to the session, and what did he pass on to you and some of the other guys?
Yeah, he'll be around. Steve, Alan Davidson and Mark Taylor will be around the group for this whole test match. They're the three guys from New South Wales that we invited back into the change room for this test, and I think, as you can see in those names, they've got a lot of experience. We've got two of the greatest captains of Australia of all time, and three guys that still love the game and follow the game closely. So it was nice to have him back around training. I know he feels very comfortable walking back into that change room that he's so used to being around. It's great to have you there, all three of them. It's great to have their knowledge around the group at any opportunity we can get. So I know, Tug spoke to a few of the guys throughout the session today, and I just had a good chat with them then in the change room. But yeah, it's more about, like I've said to the guys, about learning about the people that have come before you and what they've done for this great game. It's so important for us to respect the history of the game, and I think every state we go to, we've been lucky enough to have some great players come back in and teach us and talk to us about their time and how things worked at their time, and offer their advice on where we sit as a team, where we sit individually when we have that conversation with them as well, and help us become better players. So, having those three guys around here for the next few days will be fantastic, and an honour. It's an honour to have them back around the group.
Last question, Mel.
Michael, you're obviously moving up to 4 for this game. Given the retirement of Huss and the restructure of the order, do you see that as a permanent move for yourself, given your form?
I don't really know, Mel, to be honest. Again, the number means nothing to me. Like, I feel it'll have no impact on the way I play. Unfortunately, through my career, there's been the occasion I've been in for 3 for not many anyway. So if I go in early, I'm prepared for that. If I have to sit and wait, I'm prepared for that as well. So where I bat is irrelevant. After this test match, I'll sit with Mickey and we'll work out what we think the right batting order is for India, for the subcontinent, and obviously leading into the Ashes. But from my mind, it makes no difference where I bat. If we think it's best for the team that I go to 4, I go 4. If we think it's best to stay at 5, I stay at 5. I think obviously Watto being injured for this game, if Watto was fit for this game, he would have stayed at number 4, I would have stayed at number 5. So the reason for the move is the fact that he's injured, and both myself and Michael Hussey and Matthew Wade will go up the order.